Hello everyone and welcome to my hobby home. My name is Cathy. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am going to be working on a request that I received from one of my viewers asking if I had any pointers to do half square triangles. Well, the one that I am going to do for you guys today is the 2 times half square triangle, which what that is, normally my general rule, which I know this isn't the general rule as it is, my general rule is, she was asking for a 4 1/4. I would either go I would actually go a 5 if I'm doing it. So I have some charm squares here. I have my marking pen. I have my, this is a 1/2 inch. This would be your center line, and you just mark on the sides of it. So what I'm going to do is take these charm squares and show you how to get it down to 4 1/4 inches. Now, this is how I do it. This may not be how everybody does it, but this is how I do it. I will show you how to do it with maybe multiple rulers also. So let me get you turned down so you can see what I'm doing, and hopefully it'll make sense. It's easier for me to show you than to just tell you. And I am just going to show you how I do half square triangles. So one moment and I'll have you turned down on my desk. Okay, so I have a different setup here. You are going to see shadows because I do have a light over to my right and a light straight above you. But I am going to start by showing you how I do this. I take my OmniGrid ruler and I put it on each corner. Now, if you are good enough and you think you can do this without marking, that's great. I can't. So what I do is I just mark on both sides of the ruler. Now these actually come in a pack of 3. I imagine you can probably buy them individually if you wanted to. Okay, so see right here, I have my 2 lines drawn on each side. Let me move it over. Not quite centered there for you. But this would be the center. This would be 1/4 inch on each side. My next step is going to be my sewing machine, and I will show you how we do that as well. Okay, so now I have this on my machine. I'm hoping you can see it. What I'm going to do is sew on the stitch line that I drew. And what I did, I have my second piece of fabric. I have them lined up. Now this is a 5-inch square. Once again, this is a 5-inch square. So what I'm going to do is just go on and stitch on this line. I'm going to stitch on both lines. Okay. And then we're going to turn this around and do the opposite side. We're just going to get our needle on that line there and sew that second line. The reason I'm showing you this is so you can see that I'm doing it on the lines. Okay, so now I'm going to bring you back to my table. Okay, so now I have you back down on my table, and you can see my 2 stitch lines there. I will take my ruler again And this does not have to be exact, but I normally put that center line on my stitch line and cut. So what I'm going to do now is press these. I'm just going to press them to the red or to the dark. And I'll have you back on my table so I can show you how I do 4 1/4 inch half square triangles. Okay, we are back. We have our 2 squares. And I have a Creative Grids Perfect 5 ruler here that I'm going to use. You could use any ruler that has your diagonal right here. I don't know if you can see that. Let me see if where I put it, if you can see it or not. Yeah, you kind of see it. It goes from side to side there. What I am going to do, I'm laying one to the side. I am putting that diagonal on that stitch line. And I know I want it to be 4 1/4. So I am making sure I'm going to do a 4 1/4 on this. Well, let me turn it the other way if I can do 4 1/4 this way. Because here's my 4. That's a half right there, and this will be 1/4. So when I do that, now there's more than just this 4 1/4 to look at. You need to look at this 4 1/4 also. So I'm positioning that on the line where I see, okay, I'm past my 4 1/4, so I know I'll be at 4 1/4 and I'll be at 4 1/4. Your 4 1/4 you want on the fabric, because you can trim it off. You can always trim it off, but you can never add it back on. So what I'm going to do is trim that excess. So I know, okay, those are my straight lines. I can use those for the 4 1/4. You turn your fabric completely around. So now I know I can put this on the line. And I'm on the line. I keep that diagonal on that stitch line. I have my 4 1/4 right here. My 4 1/4 right there. And I trim away. This gives me a 4 1/4 inch half square triangle. And notice my points are there. And I'll do that again just in case it didn't make sense that first time. Here's our second square. You lay that diagonal line. I wish I could get you closer. There's the diagonal line. You put that diagonal line on your seam line right there. You find your 4 1/4 right here, because there's your 4, and 4 1/4 is right there. Your 4 and 4 1/4. I'm actually good on both of these. I could actually trim where it's at right now. So I'm going to do that. Just show you that as long as your 4 1/4 is on the fabric and not past the fabric, you can go ahead and trim. Because what you're doing when you trim is you're making your straight line. That's your guideline. So now we're flipping it over. So we've got our straight line on the side and the bottom now. We're putting that diagonal back on the stitch line, and we're finding our 4 1/4, and we're lining that up now. Okay, and we got our 4 1/4 down here. We're lining the 4 1/4 down here on the bottom. Now also make sure you are on that stitch line, because that's what's going to give you your corners. And I just trim. Now I will tell you, until I used Creative Grid rulers, I was sliding all over the place. So here is another 4 1/4. So let's lay them on top of one another so we can see. I'm going to lay I'm going to try to lay them perfectly even. Yep. There is your 2 4 1/4. They fit perfectly. And let me lay this ruler on it. I'm going to get on that side. Trying to see if there's a way I can show you without. This is how I can do it. I can put that corner there, because I know it's 4 1/4, so it don't matter. I don't know if you can see that right there, but that's 4 1/4. And let me show you the bottom as well. It's hard to hold both of them and hold them even. See if you can see that 4 1/4. I don't have a light up there. Let me move my light. Get it? There we go. There you go. You can see that 4 1/4 there, and that 4 1/4. It's flopped over. That 4 1/4. This is strictly from using charm squares. My general rule is if I need like even a 4 1/2, I probably would have used a 5 inch. Because I know I'm going to lose a 1/4 of an inch off of each piece for the seam. So it would be tight, but it's doable. And that is how I do my half square triangles for a 4 1/4 inch. So if you need more information on that, I can, just message me if you need more information. I don't know how much more information to give, but the key is to have a ruler that has that grid line, that diagonal line across it. That is the easiest way to do it. Now, I'm guessing if you don't have that diagonal, well, yeah, I do know how to do that without the diagonal, because I have a ruler that don't have one. And how I would do it is I would take like the 1 and 1 like that, and each, let me show you. Okay, right there, you see the one where the 1 and 1 comes together, and the 2 and 2, and the 3 and 3. I would make sure that was on my stitch line. If it did not have that diagonal, I would make sure those points were on the stitch line, and do the same thing with your 4 1/4. Now, I always do my 4 1/4 on the, I'm trying to think, the left side and the bottom. You can do it on the right side and the top if you want to, but for me it's easiest the left side and the bottom, because I'm going to cut on the right side and the top because I'm right-handed. I don't know that I just gave you a lot of wise information, but that is how I do my half square triangles. They work out really well for me doing it that way. I've not had any problems since I learned how to do it. I did struggle at first on how to do it a lot. Getting the measurements on a lot of things has been not my strong suit, but I am learning. And that half square triangles, I think I have those down pretty good, especially since doing the Starly quilt. We had a lot of half square triangles, a lot. So yeah, And I had some of those that didn't come out real good because I did not have this ruler yet. And my ruler did not have that. And another thing, when you're making half square triangles, when you are doing your lines, check your fabric. If you were doing it this way, let me find the, okay, yeah, this is the stretchy. So this is going to be the stretchy side. We don't want that. This is the stretchy side. That's the stretchy side. You want the side that does not stretch. Those are going to be on your sides. And so go in and draw your line. So those will be your sides. That will not lend to a lot of stretch when you're pressing out. And it just makes for a nicer half square triangle. So that is another tip. Make sure your knot stretch is on the sides, or the straight thread is on the side. So guys, if this helped you at all, I probably have a lot of very high-end quilters. This is really for beginners and maybe someone that half square triangles are just kicking you in the rear end. This is how I do half square triangles. They have worked for me. Doing them this way, they turn out really nice. So if you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment, or you can even email me. If you don't want to leave a comment, my email address is always down in the description. Feel free to email me. I do check my emails once a day at the most. I don't check them 2 or 3 times a day. I check them once a day, most time in the evening. Sometimes I do miss a day, but I check them at least every other day. I will help you however I can. If you have any questions, I don't always have the answers because I am still learning myself. But that is one. Half square triangles is one thing I do have down. But yeah, give me a thumbs up. If you've not yet subscribed, please do. Leave a comment. I do respond to each and every comment personally. And as always, until I see you again, have a very blessed day. Goodbye.